Hello, boys and girls, and welcome back. Today's book we're reading is Surviving Being Lost at Sea, and this book is by author Samantha Bell. Chapter 1, Alone on the Waves. Steve Callahan loves boats. He had dreamed of crossing the Atlantic Ocean in a small boat since he was 12 years old. That dream came true when he was 29. He and a friend crossed the ocean in the Neapolitan solo with Callahan built himself. Callahan decided to make the 4-week trip back on his own. After 7 days, he ran into trouble. A huge storm hit, then something like a whale made a large hole in the side of his boat. The boat took on water fast and began to sink. He had to leave it. He inflated his boat rubber life raft and climbed into it. Callahan had only enough food and water on the life raft for a few days. He quickly learned how to catch fish with a spear gun. He also used a solar steel, using sunlight and still took the salt out of seawater. After 2 weeks, Callahan finally saw a ship. He set off a flare, but no one saw it. The ship passed by. By day 40, the raft had ripped in one spot. Callahan hand kept pumping the raft torn tube with air to keep it afloat. After 10 more days, he felt like giving up, but he found a way to seal the tube using a fork and some fishing line. He had new hope. Callahan drifted for 26 more days. He still stopped working. He still stopped working and he was almost out of water. But his fortune changed when he threw some fish guts into the water. Birds flew near his raft to eat the remains. Some fishermen saw the birds and rescued him. Callahan had been lost at sea for 76 days. Other people have been lost at sea too. Some had the motors on their boats stop working. Other times, storms caused their boats to sink. In some cases, their boats were damaged or disabled by whales or other sea animals. Callahan knew most boats make it safely to where they are going. He was not worried about sailing across the ocean by himself. But when something did go wrong, he knew what to do. He knew how to survive being lost at sea. Timeline. People have sought adventure on the high seas for thousands of years. Sometimes these adventures became more than anticipated. Even with today's technology, people can still become lost at sea with no way to contact those who could help. Chapter 2, The Basics. Castaways in the middle of the ocean or a small craft must first not panic. They should calmly talk, take some time to think about their situation, then decide what to do next. See what food, water, and equipment are available. There might be a survival kit in the raft. In 1972, Douglas Robinson, his wife, 3 sons, and a friend were lost at sea after a whale rammed their boat. The survival kit they used had 18 paints, 8.5 liters of water, some bread, fishing supplies, a signal mirror, a first aid box, and 8 flares. Items floating in the water can help too. If you see objects, pick them up, even if they do not seem important. The Robinson family found some empty boxes, a plastic cup, and a sewing basket. Inside the sewing basket, many more items. It had pins, screen, buttons, foil, wire, aspirin, bags, a pencil, and a pen. It is important to keep supplies safe. Items like watches and matches should be kept in waterproof containers. Tie down anything that might get washed away. Put away sharp objects that could cause damage to the raft. Next, consider your location. Sometimes it's important and best to stay where you are. If you are close to land or shipping routes, someone might find you quickly. Some people try to anchor their boats. If the survival kit does not have an anchor, you can make one. Use a bucket full of water, a heavy object, or some clothing. Tie the anchor to the end of the rope to help your raft stay in place. The Robinsons knew no one would pass by. They decided to keep drifting. After 38 days, Japanese fishermen spotted them. If lost at sea, it may seem like there is plenty of water to drink, but you can't drink seawater. Why do we think we can't drink seawater? People need to drink fresh water to survive. Even if you have a lot of fresh water, you will want to ration it. Drink as little as is necessary to stay hydrated. What do we think the word hydrated means? People can survive on just 2.5 pints, 1.2 liters of water per day. But in harsh conditions, people may need 4 or 5 times more than that. Castaways can get more water when a storm comes. Items such as plastic boxes and bags, raincoats, and boots will hold rainwater. People who are lost at sea find ways to get enough water for amazing amounts of time. During World War II, a Chinese sailor named Pun Liam was working on a British trading ship. A German submarine hit the trading ship and sank it. Liam escaped with just a life jacket. After several hours, he found a wooden raft with some supplies. When his water ran out, Liam cut the canvas off of his life jacket. He used it to collect rain. He survived on the ocean for 133 days until he was found. In colder climates, people lost at sea might find sea ice. New sea ice is salty and cannot be used. Old sea ice has lost its salt and is a blue gray color. You can't melt this ice and you cannot drink it. All right, the effects of drinking salt water. Let's find out. If you are lost at sea and thirsty, the ocean water may look good to drink, but it will actually hurt you. Seawater is made up of many different salts. Kidneys keep the right amount of salts in the human body. This helps cells, tissues, and organs work properly. If you drink seawater, too much salt enters your body. Your kidneys cannot get rid of it. You feel even more thirsty and your body starts to break down. So they're letting you know the reasons why it's so important not to drink the seawater. Humans can survive for weeks without food, but being lost at sea does not mean you have to go hungry. You might have some packaged food. You can also get your food from nature. Fish are the main food source, but you should avoid large fish and fish with sharp teeth or spines. These fish could hurt you or damage your raft. You can catch fish with fishing line, hooks, and bait. If you do not have any, you can make them with the supplies you have. Use a shoestring or sock thread for a line. A pocket knife, a piece of metal, or a wire can act as a hook. Pony Liam used the spring from a flashlight and nails from his wooden raft. Shiny objects such as jewelry or spoons can work as bait. When people who are lost at sea catch a fish, they must decide what to do with it. Sometimes it is best to eat it right away. Without an oven, the fish might be eaten raw. If there is other food, you can save the fish for later. Cut the meat into strips and set them out of the raft to dry in the sun. That way, the meat will last longer. The other part of the fish can be used for bait. So, what do we think the effects of leaving it out to dry? Why is that so important? In 1973, Maurice Bailey were sailing to New Zealand when a whale struck their yacht, causing it to sink. On the left on the life raft, they ate all of their food within 10 days. They needed the fish but did not have any hooks. So Marlene made her own from safety pins. She also made a trap with a can. She cut a hole in it and put bait inside. Fish swam in and she scooped them up. Surprising events sometimes help people survive. The Baileys caught and ate sea turtles that came by their boat. Birds landed on the raft to rest. The Baileys were able to grab the birds and eat them. Maurice and Marlene were rescued after 117 days at sea. Sometimes there is not much food or water available at sea. It is important to rest as much as possible when this happens. Staying awake makes you feel more hungry and thirsty. Chapter 3, Staying Safe. Did you know the ocean can be a lot like a desert? The hot sun causes sunburn, sunstroke, and loss of fluids. When people are stuck on a raft, it is important to stay cool and hydrated. Castaways need shelter from the sun. Many life rafts have a canopy. But if there is no cover, you can make one with a tarp or extra clothing. Also, try to find something to protect your eyes from the bright sunlight. If it gets too hot during the day, you can wet your hair and clothes with seawater. You can do this as long as the salt does not irritate your skin. You can also take a dip in the ocean if the water is calm and safe. Going up and down on the waves in a small raft makes some people seasick. When people are seasick, they may throw up a lot. Their bodies can lose a lot of valuable fluids. If you are seasick, do not eat any food until you feel better. Being sick can lead to other problems. Throwing up over the side of the raft might attract sharks. Sharks eat fish, crabs, squid, rays, turtles, and many other sea animals. They tend to go after slow targets. If people are in the water and see a shark, they should all swim together in a large circle. Swim with strong movement if alone. That way, you will not look like a wounded animal to a shark. The shape of clothing can confuse sharks. Keep all of your clothing on, including your shoes, but take off any jewelry. The shine from jewelry may look like a fish to sharks. If sharks come near while castaways are on a raft, the people should be still and quiet. Bring in any fishing lines and bait that might attract the shark. Do not let your arms and legs hang over the edge. If a shark does attack, hit it in its eyes and gills. How sharks hunt. Sharks use all of their senses to hunt. They have a sharp sense of smell and can detect blood and other fluids in the water. They also can and hear they can also see and hear well. Sharks feel movement in the water with sensors on their sides. Pone Liam and the Robinson family and the Baileys saw sharks while they were on their rafts. At first, the survivors were afraid, but they learned how to stay safe. Eventually, the Baileys were even able to catch and eat some smaller sharks. Survivors should stay aware of their surroundings. Most people lost at sea are found by a passing ship, airplane, or helicopter. Some see shore and are able to land. Groups of two or more can take turns watching for help. Help can pass by during the day or at night. If you are alone, limit the watch time to a couple hours, then rest for a while. Douglas Mark Robinson, his oldest son, and their friend took 2 hour shifts. Keep watching for signs of land too. If you see a cloud in a clear sky that does not move, it is probably over land. A greenish sky is a sign of land too. Sunlight reflects from the shallow water, making the clouds look green. Survivors should have their signal flares ready in case they see a ship or plane. If you do not have any flares, use a pocket mirror or a cell phone screen to reflect sunlight. Movement also attracts attention. Tie brightly colored material on an oar and wave it in the air. You can use a whistle too. Sound travels well across water. When a ship passed by the Baileys, they waved clothing. The ship turned around. People survive being lost at sea for days, weeks, and months. It might seem that being lost for sure such a long period of time would make someone avoid the water, but many survivors are not afraid. Instead, they go back to the ocean ready to travel again. Search and rescue. Organizations around the world work to promote safety at sea. The, they develop training programs, create technology, and lobby for effective monitoring of Earth's water. All right, so they're showing you the different headquarters here. We have one in the United States, United Kingdom, South Africa. All right, and that is the end, boys and girls. I hope you guys have learned something new. I definitely have. I did not know there was that many people that have been lost at sea, and I hope you have learned some new resources just in case you may know someone who may be going sailing. But that's the end of this book today, and I will see you guys again later. Bye bye.